Psalm 2. Why do the nations rage, and the peoples plot a vain thing? The king of the earth take a stand, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, Let's break their bonds apart, and cast their cords from us. He who sits in the heavens will laugh. The Lord will have them in derision. Then he will speak to them in anger and terrify them in his wrath. Yet I have set my king on my holy hill of Zion. I will tell of the decree. Yahweh said to me, You are my son. Today I have become your father. Ask of me, and I will give the nations for your inheritance, the uttermost parts of the earth for your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron. You shall dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Now therefore be wise, you kings. Be instructed, you judges of the earth. Serve Yahweh with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Give sincere homage to the Son, lest he be angry, and you perish on the way. For his wrath will soon be kindled. Blessed are those who take refuge in him. Psalm 2. For this, the one verse that sticks out to me is verse 11. Serve Yahweh with fear and rejoice with trembling. I always like to point this out that serving with fear is not I'm scared, I'm afraid of what this guy will do, so I will serve out of fear mindset. The concept that the Israelites, the ancient Hebrews used was a reverent awe. So because of the capability of what God can do, we should fear him, not because God is angry and will use that power for evil or for angry usages. That's where the fear of the Lord comes from, is a severe, or not even severe is not the right word, a heavy reverence, a heavy awe in what God can do. And this is something that has always kind of baffled my mind in a certain sense, but it's something that I've taken to use or taken to follow from the perspective that God is in everything and everything can be found in God. So not knowing what I will come across, I need to be mindful and be aware of what I say and what I do, for the consequences of life will come when I least expect it. And knowing that God is all powerful, you never know what kind of consequences might be dealt my way. And I'm not saying God will cause the evil of the world, but like everything, everything has its, sorry, this thing is bothering me. Everything has its pros and cons. Everything has its good and bad. And our decisions to follow God or to not follow God has its set of consequences, and consequences that are set by God because he is also all-knowing. So, and it's not a consequence of, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, therefore you should be punished. It's a consequence of, I love you, this isn't right, let's correct it. And that's how I have, at least recently, I'm not going to say I've been perfect at it or close to perfect at it, but at least recently, that's how I've lived in that fear of the Lord mindset. So that's my Psalm 2 reading. I hope you enjoyed. I'll be back next week, if not sooner, for Psalm 3. Until then, stay blessed.